Good day, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Hospitality Chronicles. Today, I am extremely pleased to have with us and present to you Chef Sanjay, who's the Director of Culinary for the IIHM group of establishments, which means essentially for all the colleges that IIHM has within the country and also out of the nation, and also his intervention in hospitality, which has crossed many decades by now. Privileged and honored to have you, sir, with us.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to discussing a very important topic with you, sir.
Yeah.
And I know that both of us are very passionate about this topic, and I'm sure this conversation is going to take us places.
Right, and thank you for leading the talk on sustainability in a sense, which you are hinting at this point of time. And that's the point of discussion that we are having today, which today cuts across not only in terms of academia for people like us who are in academics, but that we have also worked over a period of time, Chef, you also for many years in your areas of excellence, in flight kitchens, in hotels and other operations. We'll be talking today, friends, about sustainability and the importance of sustainability within academics, within operations, and how we can impact that. So, Chef, my first question is sustainability in its own sense a challenge for us to take forward?
See, I would like to answer this question, this argument on the basis of a wider perspective. Before we get into the industry, I would say whether sustainability is a challenge or not, or how much of a challenge is it, depends a lot on what the region or what the nation is doing about sustainability. Because all the threads that you basically start weaving in your establishment or in your larger establishment and organization finally has to somehow gel into what the nation is doing. Because let's say, for example, we talk about in certain cities in India who have successfully started separation of wet, dry and recyclable garbage. If at the hotel level you have the capability, or at the college level if you have the capability, like for example here at IIHM we do separation at many points, like in the food and beverage kitchens, then on the level of the housekeeping, etc. Initially we had this major challenge that once we are segregating, what is going to happen to it? And initially for the first few years it was just like that, we were segregating it. The only thing that we were dividing was newspaper and recyclable products which were given to somebody, and rest, the wet and dry garbage, was finally going into the same pit because the all the select collection of garbage, etc. was from the same agency. Now over the last 5 years, because of our location and because of the people who now collect garbage, there is a lot of awareness there, and they have also started a system where it is being collected that way. So whenever we talk about challenges, these challenges are not so much on the level of the organization. I'll just give you an example. Before COVID, around approximately 5.5, 6 years back, we decided one fine morning that we want to stop use of single-use garbage bags in the kitchen. When I am talking about single-use garbage bags, what we used to have as a trend was every student would use a small garbage bag covered on top of a bin, a garbage bin, and at the end of the class, whatever non-vegetarian trash, vegetarian trash would go into that bin, he would collect it, tie it and put it into a bigger bin. So one fine morning, we decided that we are going to get away with it. So, and it was like, you decided it today, Friday, on Monday you started it, and it's running. And at some stage, when we were doing a very big project, which was an international project on sustainability, on sustainable hospitality, it was funded by European Union. When we did, and finally we decided, let's calculate how much plastic we have stopped from going into the landfill. we realized that on a daily basis, we used to use approximately 7 kgs of garbage bags.
That's a lot, yeah.
That's quite a bit. And multiplied by 5 days.
And that's from one institute.
That was from one institute. And then one fine morning we stopped it. 35 into 4 is 150 odd kgs of plastic stopped going to the landfill from one building. You can imagine the change that has come.
So that means basically what you're trying to imply is that it needs to be taken in terms of small steps and going across, trying to understand what the 17 sustainability development goals are and trying to impact it in the way that one can. Now, how easy or how difficult is it to embrace certain learnings from, let's say, our own hospitality industry into academics and into the curriculum? Is it a possibility?
Very possible. Very possible. Because me personally, over the last many years since I have been in academics, I have already crossed a decade. And within India and internationally, wherever I traveled, and especially a couple of major travels that we did, focused on sustainable hospitality. There was this project from Erasmus. We called it C2S2, Conscious Caterers Sustainable Systems. So I went abroad and we had this exposure to a lot of these villages and hotels and establishments which were almost sustainable to the word zero. Almost carbon negative institutions, especially in France. I saw, we went to a village, a hospitality village means a tourism village which is almost carbon zero.
In terms of water,
in terms of water, power, growing of vegetables, they are lucky, they have a river flowing.
Local for local.
Local. And you know, it was kind of an eye-opener. Although we knew about sustainability, we were trying to do our bit, but then this basically gave an impetus. So I think it is very possible to bring in the learnings from the industry into the education and into our day-to-day operations in educational institutions.
Right. I also think that essentially a whole lot of thought that goes across the minds is that all these issues of, let's say, we want to have a lab within the institute or rainwater harvesting and so on and so forth, or let's say we want to have alternate energy to be produced or even to partner, is going to be some sort of financial drain. But do you think over a period of time it matches out, it sort of spears out, you know?
I don't even have an iota of doubt. I am completely convinced that anything that you do in the journey of starting sustainable production, or for that matter, sustainable living, any effort, if you pay something in the beginning, you will 101%
be able to reap the benefit.
101%.
Within this entire exercise of your, both within operations and within academia, there must have been certain situations which have been successes, and you have explained some. There could be some situations where it was not so successful. Would you like to share with the audience on that?
Yes, of course. We are actually struggling with one of those issues now. We decided after this separation of garbage thing happened in our area here in Kolkata, we decided that we will start making our own compost. So we kind of did a little bit of a learning session, a couple of weeks of learning from somebody who was an expert from outside, and we showed him and / her 2 people. So we showed them our operations, and they guided us as to how it has to be started, etc., etc., and we started successfully. And then we realized, what happens, and in academics there are peaks and there are troughs in the academic year.
Right.
So similarly, in certain times, when, like for example, this time, which is now August, we have all the 3 years doing food production practicals in the kitchen, and we generate an immense amount of compostable material. So what happens is, at certain point, whatever infrastructure we have for composting, that gets completely jammed, and somewhere in March, April, we don't have enough to fill up our compost bin. So it's not a challenge. It's basically something that probably we have to live with till the time we decide to do something else.
But we do appreciate and we understand the challenge. So that's a good step forward.
Correct.
And at least knowing that
Correct.
this is the situation as of now.
Correct.
So how do we await that in the
Yeah,
future?
and you know the best part is that because we are doing this, we have quite a lot of plantation on the campus. And most of the plantation, we take the compost from there.
Yeah.
It takes approximately 3 weeks, 4
Yeah.
weeks,
And
especially for the vegetarian
who
one.
knows, possibly from manual composting, we might actually move one day to, let's say, mechanical composting,
Yeah.
which many are doing.
Possible.
We never know.
And because we have good amount of material, even if we do machine composting, it is going to justify the cost.
Absolutely. And that's one area I was thinking about in terms of IIHM. Not only with you over here, but you heading the entire sphere of culinary education all the way through, and also giving your wonderful advice to the properties that the IIHM group has in Goa, Bangalore, and Kolkata hotels, to be precise. There are interventions that you do severely in terms of mitigating world hunger.
Correct.
As an important, or community interventions,
Correct.
or looking after the elderly, which are also huge sustainability issues, and as you know, put up in the charter of
Yes,
the UN
yes.
SDG. Would you like to talk something about that and what IIHM does?
Yeah, two important things that I will talk about. Because we work with young people, I am very upbeat on education on gender sensitivity, which is the equality, which is a very important sustainable goal. So, from the very beginning in our colleges, we emphasize on this, on equal opportunities, on how the behavior should be, to sensitize the boys and the girls both towards each other, because this is the time when they come 18, 19 years, they are at the threshold of something new. They've just come from school. So this is one very important thing that we have mandated to do in our colleges. Number two, one of the most important things, as you spoke about hunger, we have what we call the Food Soldier program, which is now become a very, very popular program, not across only IIHM campuses and hotels, but a lot of the industry and normal citizenry of the country has picked up this program. We get a lot of requests from people into philanthropy who want to contribute to the Food Soldier program. So, in terms of contribution, we do not take cash contributions, we do not take material, we just connect the needy and the people who are interested in doing it. So this connection has now reached thousands and thousands of people. It multiplied during the COVID pandemic, and today every week or every second week minimum you will see some effort happening in the Food Soldier program by either the students or the teachers or the campus in the whole, or the people who are supporters of IIHM and the Food Soldier program.
IIHM. For a great hospitality career, call 98310 50,000.